Cornyn is applauding President Obama's inaugural remarks regarding an open government. He says, quote, today President Obama delivered a powerful inaugural address that will undoubtedly be captured in history as one of America's finest moments. Joining me now is Joe Pearson to discuss the inauguration and the future of the United States. Joe teaches AP U.S. History and Economics at Rider High School. And Joe, thanks so much for joining us today. First, tell me about your thoughts on what an African-American president means to this country.
You know, President Lincoln talked about binding up the wounds from the Civil War. I think this is another step in binding up some of the historic wounds we've had. I'm old enough to remember when there were stores in Wichita Falls that still had signs up indicating they wouldn't serve African Americans.
Sure.
And I can remember as a 12-year-old seeing on TV Governor Wallace refusing to lead the steps of the University of Alabama. So this is a step that I think for Americans allows us to feel more that we are one people. And even within the last few years, there have been polls that indicated that there were distinctly different views on that between white and African Americans.
All right, the economy is obviously the biggest factor, I guess, or biggest challenge that Obama faces. How do you think his plan stacks up with everybody else's? There's been talk about comparing it to a New Deal type of plan that needs to be done.
Yeah, well, there's an old saying that if you lay all of the economists on earth end to end, they still won't reach a conclusion. So you can get about as many answers to that as you can economists. Keynesian economists who favor government action like this are more in favor right now. And so I think overall there's, for most economists, an agreement the government needs to do something.
Sure.
And part of it is actually getting money out there, but part of it is the emotional response that people have to the idea that the government actually is doing something. So in some ways you can compare it to the New Deal, although has been noted, this is a severe economic crisis, but it's not on the order of the Great Depression, and hopefully will not be.
Well, let's hope not. Peer into your crystal ball for me. There's been a lot of talk of bipartisanship in this campaign, the presidential campaign, and everything for both Democrats and Republicans, but the Democrats hold a majority everywhere now. So do you foresee them taking advantage of their majority, or do you see them actually working with the Republicans to try and get more done?
Well, on the way over here, I was listening to Katie and Bob Schieffer talking about it, and they mentioned Senator Graham, who said that it was his opinion that perhaps bipartisanship would be more in fashion. I hope that is what results from it. Now, there are signs, of course, that at least some of the people in the majority party, as well as the minority party, are falling back into old bad habits. Senator Coleman, some members of the Republican Party feel that he's not being treated well during this period of time in which his seat is in question. And also, Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi has indicated she's not too happy about backing off from investigating Republicans and some of the things that were done during Bush's administration, whereas Obama would prefer that just to be left behind and to move onward. So Obama is going to have to deal with some of the more extreme elements of his party, and for that matter, the Republican Party leadership is going to have to do the same with theirs. If they can do that, then perhaps finally something can get done, and I think the American people want that.
All right, Joe, thank you so much for joining us today. Appreciate it. You know, I'm glad you didn't teach me AP U.S. history because I would have flunked.
No, you wouldn't have.
All right.
I would have gotten you through it.
All right, thank you, Joe. In today's online poll question, we ask if you think President Barack Obama's inauguration is the most historic inauguration since George Washington's. It's a profound question. Log on to our website, KUZ.com, to vote. We'll have the results for you tonight at 10 o'clock.
First weather.